check this out. Pastor's daughter leaves OnlyFans. Career. In that first sentence, you have all you need to know. I don't believe the conversion. If you were not privy to the knowledge of good and evil and sin and as intimate a relationship as with a pastor's daughter, and then you fell into really bad behavior, bad times, and then when you really came across what it meant to be moral in the Christian sense, and you decided to adopt it, I can begin to extend you some belief. But if you were the pastor's daughter and you went bad, then I don't believe it. When you say, oh, now, especially under these circumstances. So I guess there could be different circumstances where you come back, where it would be somewhat believable, and I would give you some rope, but no, not in this case. Pastor's daughter leaves OnlyFans career behind after finding Jesus and a new boyfriend, which I thought they were married. Are they not married? Nala Ray, an Illinois-born pastor's child turned OnlyFans model, left. That's a real nice way. It's a euphemistic way to say e-whore. Left the adult industry after a come to Jesus moment led her to reconnect with her forgotten faith. The content creator that so many conservatives, Michael Knowles, they're doing backflips over this. The content creator was working as an orthopedic surgery scheduler, so a secretary, before a man recruited her for the online site in 2020. But despite her popularity as top 1% earner of OnlyFans, $9 million she claims to have made, folks. A subscription-based adult website, Nala had a change of heart. It made it sound like it was kind of just like a, flip the lights on, flip them off, or flip them off, flip them on. Happened in like a week or two. Quote, the ones who are glamorizing the lifestyle are men. Oh, we get it now. The anti-whiteism of men are the problem. And she's not going to be condemning non-white men. So we know what she means. White men. When they just say men, they mean white men. The ones who are glamorizing it are white men trying to run women's lives and take a percentage of it, and it's horrifying. Wait, what? I thought this was all about coming to Jesus. And she's starting off with this quote about how right out of the anti-white playbook, the white male is the problem. They just want to control. The white male wants to control you. Your life was really controlled, wasn't it? $9 million you made for your little harlot self. That's how much you were controlled by white males. It's truly horrifying to be a woman and have men take a percentage of you, showing your body on the internet. Oh, God, can you believe it? I just feel so bad for her. Did you create the site, bitch? Did you create the payment processors, bitch? No, you did none of this. You are a piece of ass in the overall machinery of a business. So shut your mouth and just take your $9 million. But no, this is right out of the anti-white playbook. Even worse, that so many conservative and so many Christian people are standing up for this harlot now. That she comes right out with it's the anti-whiteism. White males are bad. They're trying to control me. They're trying to control women. It's truly horrific that it's being advertised in that manner. It's just like having a pimp, she says. Well, when you are a whore, you have a pimp. It's so astonishing. I want you to reflect where we began the conversation. I did it on purpose. Our innocents are being gutted like fish. They're being gutted. in our malls, which used to be nursery rooms of safety and fun shopping experiences. We are being dragged because we don't have a people, we have a race. We're being dragged into massive potential for massive warfare. Not because Iran wants it, because they clearly don't. And the population is deciding what they're going to listen to, whose views they're going to want to hear. And is it coming to somebody who can very clearly explain it all to them so that it all makes sense for the purpose of retrodicting and predicting, and that it's demonstrable, it's empirical, everything that I'm saying is accurate and lucid for you? No. They want to go hear the opinions of somebody that if it's a guy, he is getting aroused by. That's what the audience is hungering for. Upholding the anti-white narrative is truly horrific. Makes me want to fight all the more to help women understand that this is not where you want to go, the influencer said. So there she is. There's your new. She's decided she's going to be a conservative Christian content influencer now. And bet all the money that I'll ever have. Not going to be much, because the audience wants her, not me. Your basic bitch out there audience. That she's going to have a colossal audience overnight. I mean, you can't even, it's so dilettantish, we can't even say dilettante. She's going to be a sciolist. She's going to be a pretender to knowledge that she doesn't have. There are going to be other people who will give her, they're going to be white guys who will show up and will give her, conservative guys who will give her points that she will then repeat. And then they'll feel good about themselves for doing that. She cited that her perspective continued to shift after being baptized. I can't even tell you how much my life has changed since then. Everything in my life just kind of come to this room where I can now observe it and then be like, okay, so I just can't wait to listen to what she has to say, folks. So I don't really want to do this anymore. I know that maybe she will do that face that she does when she's doing her conservative takes on things. I knew that this isn't what God wanted me to do with my life, she said. All right. Well, there you can see her actual asset, not between her ears. So let me there are so many points here. I'm running out of time for this part of the gathering, at least. So let me get to a few of these just like off the top of my head. Now, we've been talking about the audience. That's a big problem. That's a big factor in this. What white people, our race, what they want to go imbibe, what they want to go consume, they are at fault for where we are today, because they keep consuming things that are unproductive, things that are deleterious, harmful, things that keep us mired in selfish individualism. So they're going to go to this thing and they're going to celebrate. And many of them that are Christian are very defensive, very insecure about the obvious, that she's doing this to continue her fame, to continue getting this pathological need for attention, which it seems to be endemic for all females, but you can decide. I don't know. But their need to come to this and consume this material where she's going to be articulating opinions that are within the anti-white narrative and therefore continue to be damaging. But you can't challenge her on her conversion because then for this percentage of Christians, that's to say that Jesus doesn't have the power to convert her. And that's horseshit. Because Jesus is not the one doing the converting. Jesus is not the one, God is not the one making a person decide whether or not, if that were the case, then there would be no freedom of choice. And if there's no freedom of choice, there can't be freedom to not sin. So I know that's at variance with certain Christians that believe that all that has been done and all of this. It's obviously can't be the case. So go ahead and turn off now and leave if that's your position. So I know they get insecure about whether or not God, but this is a decision by this Ehor. So we'll take a step back from the audience and talk about, why is this Ehor leaving $9 million behind after 4 years of work? And you hardly can call it work, can you? Why is she suddenly deciding she's going to become an influencer? Well, I would submit there are various motivations. There are probably one that is one or two that are more meaningful for her, and she'll probably never reveal. But I would submit that she's getting into her late 20s now, so she has found the wall. And it's getting harder to stay in shape for her. And her appearance, the elasticity of the collagen and the skin and the joints, the hair, is starting to lose pace with the younger women. And so she can see the writing on the wall, literally, as she hits it. Probably also as part of hitting the wall, she has a diminishing sex drive. Now, I know that there can be exceptions to this rule, but pretty much every guy knows, we talk about, that the older the gal is, the less interest she has. The far less adventurous she is. The younger, the more sexual interest, the more adventurous. So she probably had a wild sex drive, and I think she claimed to have a wild sex drive. And it's probably beginning to slow down. Now, if her sex drive is beginning to diminish and she is beginning to lose pace with the younger girls, as far as that really fit young look that you see on younger women, that combined with contempt for her audience, she obviously will have contempt for people who will give her massive sums of money to take her clothes off and do sexual things for them to pleasure themselves to. She's not going to think highly of them. And so over time, the contempt will grow for them. Diminishing interest in doing those things, sexual things, and growing contempt for having to do those things for people that she is now many levels above economically, with $9 million and all these nice things that she's able to buy with it. And she says she made $9 million. That's just the money. We don't know about gifts and things like how many cars was she purchased? How many trips was she purchased by these guys? We heard last year and a half ago, from some of the pimps who run these entities, that guys will sign over their homes occasionally to these females. They'll just give them a house. And why is it? Well, we could talk about that as well. It's the exact same reason that is going to motivate these guys. And don't think that these are just, the people on the OnlyFans, watching the OnlyFans, that these are just like unproductive degenerates. Many of them are, but the vast majority are not. There are going to be a lot of normal people who will go to this female now to get her insights on politics and news and religion, the same way they went to her to get at her assets. because they want to look at somebody that they're attracted to. Incidentally, the same thing happens for females, even when they're not homosexual. They enjoy looking at attractive women. That's why a woman can get started. And I showed you the one on Instagram, had next to no followers on any platforms. And she was immediately invited to like 5 different Fox News shows, having given no political commentary. Now, of course, she's attractive, so the views are and the followers are skyrocketing because guys and girls, men or males and females, want to look at content creators that are pretty. It's going to be pretty women that they want to see. So we're going down the toilet with them. They turn to these airheaded twits for news and commentary. So this woman, this female, there could also be issues with competition on OnlyFans, maintaining her status as the top 0.01% of earners. She could be getting ready to drop. She could be viewing other opportunities as economically advantageous. And in fact, the opportunity, she alludes to an opportunity, and then in an interview, and then immediately reveals that she's going to become a conservative content creator. It strikes me, folks, obviously, and it does all thinking people, as self-serving. If this woman wanted to convert to Christianity genuinely, then shut your mouth and go away. Take your $9 million, take all the things that were purchased for you, and go away. That's what a woman converting to Christianity from this whoredom would do. You are wrong. There is no basis for you to share shit. You have demonstrated you don't know the path to walk in life. You have demonstrated you don't know right from wrong. You don't get to do wrong, if you will, and be part of an industry that harms millions of people. You don't get to do that and then lecture us on what's right. The only thing you can say that's legitimate is that you went wrong. Don't walk my path. Just say, Nala, just say, I went wrong. Don't go the direction I went. You'll never hear from me again. That's the only legitimate thing that you could tell people. You do not have the basis. I have decades of giving people sound advice that benefits them, improves their lives, improves the standing of our people, creates a people out of our race, and no one gives a shit. But this skin whore can become a multi-millionaire, almost a decamillionaire, which she'll easily be able to do if she just doesn't spin through it. Just put it into some bonds, put it into some high-yield accounts, and you'll be a decamillionaire by doing nothing. Demonstrates that she knows everything that's wrong to do, and she has flocks of people. Knows immediately, big content creator, daytime content, to find out what her thoughts are on what's right. Yeah, kind of upsetting. The only thing that she could do that's legitimate is shut your mouth. In fact, what she's doing is wildly harmful to our people. Specifically, just if she doesn't go any further down the road, even of anti-whiteism for a moment, which she will. Oh, trust me, she already did. But when she goes to the world and says to our young women, oh, I went bad, and I just went and I made a naughty $9 million. And now I'm going to come away from that and be celebrated and get fame and fortune as a rehabbed moral champion for God. You absolutely incentivize it for our young women. And don't you tell me, Christians out there, don't you can tell me that, oh, it's not the same. If a girl who's a good Christian girl decides to go bad and then comes back, it's not legit, because you're saying it's legit for Nala to be a pastor's daughter, to go bad and to come back. The only thing this bitch can do, well, maybe that's the problem. She can't shut any of her orifices. Maybe that's the problem. She is here to serve herself. It doesn't matter how much harm she's done to the population and how much harm she will continue to do. The ethical, moral harm, the lives that have, and the fortunes, the time lost by so many men. She used to say that she had 7,000 boyfriends. What was the opportunity cost there for those guys? Many of whom were going to be white. What was their opportunity cost for worshiping her and financing her? And now going to transition and follow her right over to being a conservative Christian content creator. She needs to shut her mouth. And the reason why they're doing this, of course, you have this phrase, white knighting. I don't like it, but we can't change it. It's in the tapestry of society. And what it means is that males will behave in a servile way toward women in order to ingratiate themselves with women, in order to be rewarded with affection and sex from women. It is a strategy for pairing up with women. It's a destructive strategy. If we were a moral society, we would ostracize men that white, or males that white knight, because of how damaging it is. Can you imagine? Think about some white guy or guys. You've seen it. You don't have to imagine it. You don't have to form this visage in your mind, because you've experienced it, where you have these guys, they're strong, they're fit, they're whatever. Maybe they've got a gun on them, and they're like, what does the little lady want? I'm going to come and force her whim, her emotional whim of the moment. And all the other guys will have to obey, or I'll burn them down. What does that do? Empowering little girls with the physical and strength and aggression of men. Empowering them and their whims with the aggression and physicality of men. It's wildly destructive. When we recapture, as we recapture our destiny, we need to write it in blood that one of the most immoral things that you can do is white knight. We have to absolutely extirpate this from the population if we're going to survive, because little girls don't have the knowledge of what's best for our societies. Their decisions are selfish decisions. What they're doing is all about serving them, and exemplified by Nala. They shouldn't be empowered with a bunch of simping males who are using simpery as a strategy to get affection and sex from women. And don't make the mistake, by the way, the guys who are coming out and in hordes and defending the whore here, their simping, their white knighting is not to get, and I have females do this. They're like, well, she's never going to know them. She'll never know them or have sex or marry them. She's already married. It's not for her. The white knighting is exemplified behavior, demonstrated behavior, so that the females in their environment will give them affection and sex. Absolutely one of the most immoral things that guys can do. And we definitely have to get back to a day where it is treated as such. No more empowering the whims of females with the might of men. The might of our males become men have to be behind my words. And if you don't like that, you can just go free yourself.